Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it as ever. Before we get into the video, if you haven't done so yet, if you could hit the subscribe button, if you could also smash a like on the video for me, please. And if you could also leave any comments that you want to put in there, feel free. No issues with that at all. Whatever your opinion is, please feel free to stick it in the comment section down below and we can try and have a discussion about it. So, we go from the sublime to the ridiculous is probably the right way of saying it. And I want to try and do this as... I was going to do an immediate reaction to the actual game itself. However, with that being said, what I was very, very conscious of was the fact that when you do an initial reaction where you're clearly upset about the result... it makes it very difficult sometimes to be objective in what you say. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to go off it in terms of just it being sort of raw emotion. I want to kind of be as factual as I can be about what I'm saying. Obviously with my opinion tied in as well, but kind of a slightly sort of drawn down without getting too over the top on it. Now, we lose 2-1. We weren't brilliant. Sorry, just straighten that out. We weren't brilliant. I thought that we were, in all essence, I thought we were poor. Everybody had a bad game, pretty much. I say everybody, that's probably tarring everybody with the wrong brush, with the same brush. Rutter had a decent game. At times he was trying to carry the game himself, I thought, and played well. Dan James didn't have a brilliant game. Somerville probably had one of his more weaker games that I've actually seen. Jed Spence, for me, he clearly doesn't like playing on the left-hand side. So he has this kind of look of him where he comes across as quite disinterested. So it looks like he doesn't care. I just think that's the way Jed Spence is, kind of his mannerism in the way that he actually plays. However, one of the things that was quite clear was that Gray was getting rinsed by their left winger, Miller. And Gray had a poor game. And that's not as a real bad slight on Gray. I think genuinely he is absolutely shattered. I think he's knackered. I think he needs a rest. For me, if you're putting Byram on the bench, then Byram starts. It's as simple as that. So for me, the one change that I probably would have looked to have made for today's game would have been Spence in at right back and put Byram in at left back. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, then he should be fit enough to play. Because with Byram, if you're not fit enough to play, he shouldn't even be on the bench, because just giving him 20 minutes here and there isn't good enough. I thought Camara had not a very good game. Ampadu, not a fantastic game. Pirot was very Pirot in this game. He was anonymous, so it makes it difficult for him to get involved in the game. What they did do, Preston, is they packed the midfield, and we really struggled with that. Really struggled with that. It wasn't so much that it was a mid-block or a low block. It was more just like they packed the midfield. The thing that I'm more annoyed about than anything else, and I've mentioned this before, and don't get me wrong, Preston deserved the win. No two ways about it. Fair play to them. They got the result. Great. You know, that's, well, it's not great, but fair play to them for getting the result in the first place. My issue is, yet again, is the standard of refereeing in this league is just absolutely diabolical. It was clear what Preston's game plan was, and that was for them to literally kick lumps out of us. Nothing too malicious, nothing too nasty, but their job was to kick lumps out of us. How Brown wasn't sent off was beyond me. Just for accumulation of actual fouls. And again, take nothing away from the result. They did what they had to do. They got the 3 points. They won. Fair play to them. You can't say anything else other than that. The turning point for the actual game itself is obviously where Meslier gets sent off. Now, Meslier is an absolute idiot. He shouldn't have done that. He should have known that it would have been giving the referee a decision to make. However, with that being said, if that's my player and he's rolling around on the floor like that, it's embarrassing. And the thing is Meslier caught the ball, the guy had the dig on him, then another guy had a dig on him, and then another guy runs in and has the dig on him to make him then push the guy off. And because the guy's about 3 foot now, his hand goes in the guy's face just to push him off. The guy act like he'd been shot by a sniper. I mean, 15 points for the roll and everything, but it's a red card. You cannot raise your hands in somebody's face. Do I think that cost us the game? No. At that point, they were doing all right without penetrating us too much. What cost us the game was Jed Spencer's inability to track the runner and to track the guy running in to head the goal, to head the ball. How he lets him get in front of him is absolutely beyond me. Rodon and Strauch had a decent-ish game, fine. You've got to give Strauch credit for coming up and putting the penalty away. He dispatches it with confidence and plumb, so taking captain's role, does very, very well with that, so I've got nothing but good things to say about that. I thought Gruev was good when he came on. Comes on at a difficult times, but I thought that he was good when he came on. Nonto, kind of ineffective. Bamford, what's the point? Matteo Joseph isn't the right swap for Pirot. Oddly, we seemed to play better when we went 3 at the back, which was really, really weird. Just strange. But for me, Gray needs a rest. He needs a rest now. He's a 17-year-old kid. Yes, he's brilliant. He's great, but he's playing out of position. And anybody could see at half-time that he was getting rinsed by Miller constantly. Take nothing away from Miller for his goal, by the way. Gray should have closed him down, but that finish was a good finish. Deservedly won them the game. My issue is that we don't seem to have that plan B moving forwards. We seem to be stuck in this one way of playing. And, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. If we are not on it and we are not, quick, incisive, all over the opposition from the very, very, very start, then I don't know why we seem to lack the ability to be able to get going. And it's strange because you think to yourself that the result against Ipswich should have really given the players a lift and a motivation to move forwards. But it seems to have had the opposite kind of effect. I thought that we were, whilst I didn't watch the entire first half, the bits that I watched, we were very, very relaxed. We just were lethargic, slow, not overconfident, but just not doing what we needed to be doing. And again, you've got a team that are set up to be grisly, kick lumps out of you, do the dark arts. The ref, again, I'm going to keep mentioning it, the ref was appalling, absolutely appalling. And it's infuriating, but, it is what it is. What we should have done for me, and, people can criticise me for it or not, we should have just shut up shop after we got the penalty and scored the penalty. We should have just shut up shop completely and just defended, not sitting deep defending, but just shut up shop, defended, and then tried to catch them on the break every now and then. Just that, for me, that's what I would have done. But I just think not switching Spence over to right back and maybe bringing Byram on at left back at half time was a big mistake for me, and it put added pressure onto us. And again, I'm not slating Archie Gray because he's done phenomenally well and he's a great player. It just, those things cost us, and Farke is to blame for that one. He's got to be more proactive when it comes to his decision making. For me, he's done fantastic, phenomenally well so far. But what he's got to do is that he's got to start showing that he's got a bit more of a plan B about him. Technically speaking, we should be doing way better than what we are doing, and we're not. And it's because if we don't start fast, or if we're playing against the mid to low block, we just seem to really, really struggle. It's just one of those situations where it becomes frustrating and infuriating, and we're coming up to quite a quite a key period now in our season over the next sort of 2 or 3 games. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of what happens and where we kind of end up and everything. Southampton will overtake us into third today. No two ways about that. Southampton for me will probably be the team that go on to maybe claim that second spot potentially. I've got this really horrible feeling that if again we make it into the playoffs, we're going to end up having to play fucking Ipswich in the final. I can just see it now. It's just the way that it's going to go. But yeah, we move on to the next game and we move on to trying to put this wrong. And our away form, I think, potentially could cost us this season, and something needs to be done about that quickly. Sick of saying the same thing about left backs. We've been saying it for nearly 5 years now, and it's annoying. But that's going to do it for this one. If you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to click the like button. If you are new to the channel, please also don't forget to subscribe. Yes, very, very muted. I was a hell of a lot more animated about an hour ago. But I've calmed down a little bit now, but very, very disappointed. The squad as a whole didn't turn up today. Farke made some mistakes for me, and we are where we are. Let's move on to the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Cheers.